Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy JCG. Welcome back to the lounge. So, haven't done one of these in a minute, a movie review. So, I'm going to be talking about the latest movie in the Monsterverse by Legendary and Warner Brothers, Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. I've been waiting for this one. For those of you who didn't know, I am a huge Godzilla fan. Not just Godzilla. I love a lot of kaiju, like tokusatsu in general is my thing. I love a lot of kaiju, giant monster related stuff like Godzilla, King Kong, Pacific Rim. Even though Pacific Rim pretty much died out after the sequel, but that's a story for another time. You know, I was very much looking forward to this new Godzilla and Kong film because I really did enjoy. I loved the first Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. I was a huge defender of that film, and yeah, I got some things I want to say about this film. And let me just say, I saw this movie twice now. Once this past Easter Sunday, and the second time earlier today. At the time you're watching this, it is Monday, April 1st. Yeah, I saw it twice now, and I just gotta say, it's good. Not great, but it definitely is a thrill ride of a movie, I would say. I would definitely say it's worth going to see if you're a fan of the classic Showa era of Godzilla. But we'll get into that part in just a moment. I want to talk about some of the aspects that I liked really quick. For starters, the action is insane. Like this movie is balls to the wall in terms of like its big epic scale action sequences. By the way, this is a no spoiler review, so I'm not gonna give away too much here. Maybe just like some mild spoilers, but there's nothing like major that you need to know about. Nothing that you probably didn't know already about this movie. There's a lot of bombastic stuff going on. You know, Godzilla and Kong literally wrestling with each other again, and then when they fight off the villain monsters in this movie, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's also like really cool to see that, and yeah, it's just the action in this movie just goes ham, and it's definitely the most fun part of the film. Oh man, this video may be longer than 6 minutes, but let me move on to like the human characters, because a lot of the times these kaiju films, these Monsterverse films, they get a lot of flack for just not having the best human characters, and I would say this movie kind of breaks the mold of that stereotype, because it kind of like just this movie has some pretty decent human characters, I would say. Like none of the human side story is like boring or just drags on. It feels like it actually matters to the plot just a little bit, and these humans you actually do care about for the most part, especially when we're talking about a character like Gia, portrayed by the young deaf actress Kaylee Hoddle. I think that's her name. Brian Tyree Henry's character Bernie, he is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I think was this other character was it Trapper? Yeah, Trapper, portrayed by Dan Stevens. Yeah, these human characters are all pretty fun to watch, and the casting is just great. Also, the monster characters themselves. Kong is like a fully developed character hit on his own at this point. Especially with 3 movies that we've gotten about him, he definitely feels like he's come a long way from just being this giant ape from a distant island to now being like maybe not like a sworn protector of humanity, but like someone who truly does care about humanity, or at least like the humans that actually try to help him out. Yeah, Kong is a fully developed character. What else is there great about this movie? The villains, particularly the one villain, Scar King. Scar King is hands down the second best kaiju villain in the MonsterVerse that we have had. All right, next to Ghidorah, I would say Ghidorah from Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. He takes that spot of being the #1 best villain in the MonsterVerse, but Scar King is probably the second best. He has a lot of charisma. He has a personality, unlike some of the other more original villain monsters that Legendary has created. Yeah, Scar King just feels like he feels like a villain with actual character, and I like that. I like that a lot. And now I want to move on to my negatives. There aren't many, but I do have some negatives. The plot is let me say this about the plot. This movie is very fast paced. It goes by real quick. Like, I remember the first time watching this on Sunday, like with my buddy. It was over before we even knew it. Like, we were already at like the third act, the final battle sequence, which was also pretty cool too. Then again, the final battle felt like they were kind of rushing it a bit. It kind of felt like it went by a little too fast. And yeah, this movie's pacing, it goes quick, and some might say that could be a plus, but I kind of at least want them to, for a movie that's an hour and 55 minutes, I kind of want this film to feel like there was more story to tell, at least in my opinion. What else? Another negative that I have, Godzilla himself. Nothing wrong with Godzilla in this movie. Nothing wrong with him, but he kind of felt like this is because here. Let me say this: Godzilla and Kong, much like Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021, these movies are Kong-centric. Like, they are mainly focused on Kong himself. Godzilla is still like a character in these movies, but he's more of like a supporting character. Like, even though his name is in the title, his name is first in the title, especially. So yeah, he just because he doesn't really. That's not to say he's not important to the plot, but he does get a little bit less screen time than Kong. This movie doesn't focus too much on Godzilla's part of the story. He's just kind of going around the earth, gathering radiation, powering himself up to give himself that pink energy that that pink power up that we all saw in the trailers and stuff. Which, by the way, that what do they call it? Like Evolve Godzilla. That ultimately that power up didn't really make that much of a difference in the long run. So it kind of makes you think, like, why did he even need to do that? But we all know, toy promotion and stuff like that. Yeah, Godzilla just kind of feels like less of a character this time around. Which, yeah, that's, again, it's not to say he isn't important to the story, but this movie and Godzilla vs. Kong clearly had a bias towards Kong's side of the story. But overall, fam, this movie isn't bad. It's, like I said, it's not perfect. Is it? A lot of people have been comparing this to Godzilla -1, and to be honest, I think that's pretty disingenuous because those movies cannot be compared. They can't. You cannot compare GXK to Godzilla -1. Like, yes, -1 was a masterpiece, but that movie, despite it being a Godzilla movie, despite it being a movie with a giant kaiju in it, it has a completely different tone to it. It has, like, different tone, different themes in it, a completely different story. The director was going for something else entirely with that movie. All right, the GXK knows what it is. Like I said, it's balls to the wall. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's a roller coaster of a movie, and it's fun to watch. Minus One was a more serious, just emotional. It had political themes in it too. It was a more serious, emotional, political style movie that also touched on topics like PTSD and loneliness and stuff like that. Minus One is just a movie that stands out on its own, and to compare it to GXK, that's just, I think that's dumb. I think people who are doing that, they don't understand that each iteration of Godzilla, or any kaiju film for that matter, has its own audience. But yeah, that's my whole take on the situation. Overall, fam, Godzilla Minus One, that's great. I'm talking about that movie now. I already reviewed that movie, by the way. But Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire it's a good movie, or maybe just like a decent movie, I would say. If I had to rate it out of 10, I would say it gets a solid 6.5, maybe a 7. Like I said, there are some other issues that I have with it that keep it from being any higher, but I had fun with this movie. I really did have fun with it. I had fun seeing it with my friend. I had fun seeing it with my dad. And, I would definitely, if you're a fan of the Showa era of Godzilla, if you're a fan of just giant monsters literally wrestling each other in cities, then yeah, this movie is for you. You're going to love it. With that being said, my friends, it's good to be doing movie reviews. I hope to do more in the future. And yeah, maybe I might talk about more tokusatsu stuff on this channel soon. You'll have to wait and see. Until then, this has been your boy JCG. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, God bless. I am out. Deuces.